This is a 2021 Toyota Venza. Actually, it's the 4th generation Japanese Toyota Harrier that now gets a left-hand drive conversion and a new name to go with it. Also note, the Venza is only available as an all-wheel drive hybrid. Prices in Canada start at $38,490 for the LE trim and go all the way up to $47,960 for the Limited that we have here today. It's built on the same platform like the Camry, the Corolla, the RAV4, every other modern-day Toyota, and can I be honest, it could easily pass as a Lexus. I mean, it's so striking to look at. I'm really surprised that Toyota made it a Toyota and not a Lexus. It could very easily be a Lexus. It has the new age face, which is very similar to the current Toyota Camry or Sienna. It has intensely sculptured sides, which is really what makes it look very Lexus-y. And my favorite part of all are the rear taillights. They stick out, they go side to side, and they have a very 3D element to them. I really like this bum. The only thing I don't really like about the outside are the wheels. They are a bit too busy for my taste and perhaps a bit too shiny. The interior is shocking when it comes to design. It has a massive screen on top, which is home to Toyota's new infotainment system, and right underneath is a center console that looks like the reef Nemo grew up in. It's so concave and modern, almost like the lobby of some building with fancy architecture. The dash has a very smooth line connecting it to the door panels. It's covered in very soft materials, maybe too soft as you can see here, as some scars are already appearing on this car, but the materials are not all super high grade. Visually, the dash is very impressive, but once you start feeling it up or pushing panels left and right, you're gonna notice that underneath, it's not that strong. Fit and finish could have been better. The bad part is that even on the go, you can sometimes hear squeaks and rattles coming from all around the cabin, really. And in a car that they paid so much attention making it really quiet, it's a real shame for noises to be coming from the inside. The seats are quite comfortable, and they're heated and ventilated, and the driving position is very car-like. Visibility is pretty good too, and following modern trends, now the Venza comes with a flick mirror that becomes a camera. It's very clear and very nice. I like it. It's a good implementation. The coolest feature this Venza comes with in the limited trim is the fixed glass roof, which is electrochromatic, and they call it the Stargaze roof. At the touch of a button, you can frost it out and you can't see anything. It becomes like a massive soft box for like interior lighting. I'm not really sure how cool this is. It's definitely a conversation starter. I mean, it's something you can very easily show off to your friends. I like it. It's gimmicky, but it's cool. Roominess in the back is pretty good, but not better than, for example, a RAV4. So if you're considering an upgrade to the Venza, thinking it's a bigger SUV, well, think again. Also, in this category, this price point, this kind of vehicle, it's a really big miss that the rear seats are not heated. The trunk is also a good size, offering 812 liters and a power tailgate. Under the hood, there's a lot going on, and it starts with this 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine called Dynamic Force. The reason behind that name is probably the insane compression ratio of 14:1. Alone, it makes 176 horsepower and 163 pound-feet of torque, but it has 3 electric motors to go with it. There's for sure an electric motor in the front and one in the back. I'm not sure where the third one is. I don't know if it's a typo in the press release, but they say 3. I can for sure guarantee you there's 2. I don't know where the third one is. Perhaps the gearbox, like a mild hybrid kind of thing? Who knows? The total output is 219 horsepower and unknown torque, but the electric motor at the front makes 118 horsepower and 149 pound-feet of torque, and the motor mounted to the rear, powering the rear wheels exclusively, makes only 54 horsepower and 89 pound-feet of torque. Now, don't start adding up those numbers trying to figure out a total, because that's not how it works. Every engine delivers its maximum output at a different kind of way, so the combination isn't exactly an addition, but all those numbers together give you a pretty good idea of how quick this Venza is at the end of the day. Like, seriously, when you give it with determination, it really pulls. I mean, it is calibrated to work very efficiently, so even in normal mode, it's not very eager to respond to your throttle input, but honestly, once you gun it, the gas motor brings the horsepower and the electric motors bring the torque. And altogether, it works very well. I have to say that I even don't mind the eCVT transmission. I mean, I understand it's a hybrid, it needs a CVT for all this to work in perfect harmony. I mean, yeah, it does get that constant noise, but in this case, I don't really mind it. It's okay. Not too shabby. Pedal to the metal, from a standstill, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, comes in 8.2 seconds, and overall I have to say that performance is surprisingly good in the Venza. I'm not sure if the car is as fast as I think it is, or it's the surprise element of, because it's so smooth and refined and it doesn't really want to go fast, but then when you hammer it, it really comes to life and goes. So I don't know if it's that step in attitude that makes it very interesting, or it is interesting, but nevertheless, the feeling is there and I like it. Like, yeah, it's cool. The interesting observation I made is that the CVT offers a sequential mode, so you can actually, shift yourself, but you have no rev meter. How the hell do you know when to shift? It's kind of weird. The brakes have a very positive feel. There's no weird stuff going on between regen and brake pads. And from 100 kilometers an hour, this thing came to a complete stop in 44 meters, which is good. Obviously, one of the most important things in this car is fuel economy. I mean, I don't really have the patience to drive that smoothly and slowly or whatever, like hybrid people hyper mile their cars, whatever. But even like that, I've managed an 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers average. And for an SUV of this size and for my kind of heavy foot, that's a really good number. And it's also regular unleaded, so no need for premium stuff. So in the long run, the Venza will save you some money for gas. So it'll be pretty cheap to run. Now, in terms of handling, it's not bad at all. On the highway, it's very stable and makes for a nice cruiser, but it is a little bit bumpy over sharper road imperfections. When cornering, it tries to use torque vectoring to make it feel a little bit agile. It kind of does. The rear can take up to 80% of the power, but knowing that the rear is powered by the electric motor only, and knowing that that motor is not very powerful, it kind of makes you wonder, do they try to send more power in the back, or do they just limit the power that goes to the front? The result is a mixed bag of handling characteristics. Sometimes it feels like it's trying to oversteer, then understeer, then oversteer again. It just doesn't feel very well balanced. It's like it just can't make up its mind what to do in the middle of a corner. I mean, I am magnifying that by like a factor of 1,000, but I'm just trying to explain that it doesn't really feel like a very natural SUV. They've tried this trickery with a torque vectoring, and to be honest, they should have just left it alone. I mean, mechanically, it would have gripped just fine. The steering feels really good, so overall, I would say that the Venza might not stand out dynamically, but it's not bad in any way. Comfort-wise, the damping does a great job absorbing road imperfections, but I think this version with the 19-inch wheels could have used a little bit more rubber to deal with these sharp ridges. The biggest drawback is that you cannot use the Venza for towing. You can put an accessory mount in the back, but you can only load up to 110 pounds on it. That's it. The old Venza used to be a huge crossover with lots of room, primarily meant for families and ground clearance. This one, however, is totally different. It's now a very stylish and high-tech SUV aiming at empty nesters with a green mindset who value design more than roominess. I really like the style, the technology, the safety, the economy, the refinement, and the cool roof. It also has a really good JBL sound system and a very clear heads-up display. Roominess could be better, especially in the back. The interior could have been put together a little bit better. And my last complaint would be the touch buttons that are not very practical. And on the steering wheel, the buttons themselves, they don't have a clear click. Like, I don't know if I just pressed something or just squeezed it and it didn't work. I would prefer a little bit better feeling buttons on the wheel. Overall score for this Venza is 8 out of 10. And if you, like me, like the styling, I say go for it. If you like this video, please remember to share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You know the drill. Till next time, take care. See you later.
Perfect.